Being on an airplane is absolutely terrible. I have no idea how there are actually some people in this world who enjoy flying. That just makes absolutely no sense to me because it's just awful. And it's not because I'm scared. I don't really care about flying in an airplane. I'm not scared of it. I don't like it because it's just extremely uncomfortable. There is nothing enjoyable about that experience because you have to go inside of the airplane, sit down on a chair that literally feels like it's made out of like rocks. Like they don't even care to make the chair comfortable. Even though you're probably going to be sitting in that chair for a very long time, maybe even a couple of hours, and it literally just feels like you're sitting on cardboard. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a more enjoyable experience than actually sitting on those terrible airplane seats. And then I know a lot of people say that, oh, well, you could just go to bed. You could just catch up on some sleep. Well, I'm unable to do that. I can't fall asleep when I'm on an airplane, okay? I don't know why, and I'm trying. I'm literally fighting for my life to get just a little bit of sleepy time, but it's just not working. So I absolutely hate it. There's nothing enjoyable about it. And some people are like, well, at least they give you food. You know, the only options that you're actually giving you is like soda that's always flat. I have absolutely no idea how that's even possible. The worst coffee that anyone can drink because it's going to be disgusting and they're not even going to put anything into it. Or like food that somehow always tastes spoiled even though it's not. And unfortunately, a handful of people ended up being in the worst airplane ride of all time. This is a plane ride that went so badly, I'm guaranteed that this is going to become legendary, and a lot of people are going to be talking about this in the future. And also, this story is going to give you a brand new fear that you didn't know you have. Not so long ago, a group of people decided to go on an airplane to do a little flying because they wanted to go somewhere. I completely forgot where this plane was going, and I also don't really care enough to check. But they wanted to go to one destination and fly to another. And unfortunately, since we haven't developed teleportation yet, you have to go on an airplane. And during that flight, something unfortunate ended up happening. A passenger ended up having explosive diarrhea, but levels that is so bad and so dangerous that it actually was considered a biohazard and the plane had to fly back. That's how bad it was, and that's how disgusting this poop was. And it was absolutely everywhere. I have absolutely no idea how something like this was even possible, but this person was somehow able to like go to her seat, because I'm pretty sure it was an old lady who ended up doing this, which was absolutely insane. I have no idea what she was eating that you're this old and you're able to cause this much of damage around the airplane. But it was going where she was sitting, and like halfway across the plane was actually just poop on the ground. And the way how the passengers talk about this, they actually make it sound like the worst experience that they had in their whole life, because it probably is. Even the pilots was smelling it. They were the one who considered it a biohazard, and this was so bad and so dangerous that they actively had to turn around. And when they went and interviewed some people who were actually on the flight, they straight up had PTSD. It was not looking good for them at all. They're literally sitting there like it smelled absolutely terrible. It was rancid. And then people were just trying to run away. They said they had people covering their nose so they don't have to breathe in the fume of the literally poopy air, because that's actually what it is. The air may actually smell like poop because it's all over the ground. Some people are like hiding in an airplane, which I have absolutely no idea how that's going to work, because an airplane is an extremely tiny space. So I really don't know how you're going to hide. And I also don't know how is covering your nose going to help, which I know that may sound extremely stupid, but again, airplanes aren't that big. And if someone farts and it's extremely bad, like it's a really big beefy one that has a lot of layers, or maybe even like a bass boosted one, and it smells absolutely horrible, people in the airplane are going to be able to smell it, okay? It makes like a little AoE of just BO. That's body odor. That makes absolutely no sense. It makes like a little AoE of just terrible smell, poopy smell, that everyone is going to need to deal with, and that's just a fart. So I literally can't imagine what poop is going to smell like, especially explosive diarrhea that's so fast. It was basically just a laser beam that literally spread halfway across the ground. Again, I don't think I can show any image of this, so I'm just trying to just explain this in your head on just how absolutely horrible it is. And that's not even the worst part of the story. The sad part is what the actual attendants have to do, because the people who are working on that flight, like, obviously they had to clean it up. They were literally trying their best to stop this situation because every single person is panicking. The plane is turning around, so that's probably extremely uncomfortable. There's poop all over the ground. The people who are in the plane was saying that they ended up taking like disinfectant wipes and trying to put it on the ground to make the smell go away, which I don't even know how that's gonna help. If it's this badly that everyone inside the plane is really panicking like someone just died, I don't know how you throwing disinfectant wipes is probably gonna make the terrible poopy smell go away, but you gotta give them effort. These flight attendants are definitely not getting paid enough to deal with something like this, because I know if I was one of the unfortunate souls who had to work on that airplane, I'm instantly leaving my job. Yeah, you go home from work and you're like talking to one of your friends and they're like, man, how's your day? And you have to go like, well, I had to go and clean poop all over the ground because an old lady ended up having the biggest bowel blast of her life and send pooped all over the place. So they were trying their hardest to like make the smell go away, which people say didn't work and only helped a little bit. So people are still struggling, everyone is still panicking, and then finally the plane lands. And when that happens, I'm pretty sure everyone just evacuated out of the plane like it was on fire. Everything ended, and then the attendants, their poor souls, and the janitor of the airport had to go in and clean up that, which I just can't imagine. Honestly, that is one job that I feel like does not get enough of respect, and it's just the people who have to clean up after the mess of other people, because there are just so much people. I said people so much in a short period of time, it actually does not sound like a real word anymore. But there are a lot of people in public who just don't care about the stains and the mess that they leave behind. Like, you see this a lot where if you go on the movie theater, there's just going to be some dude who literally leaves all their popcorn on the ground because you just don't care at all. I just feel so bad for the people who actively have to go and clean that up, because that easily has to be one of the worst jobs of all time, especially if it's poop. Something that is that disgusting and that nasty. You have to get actively close to it and clean it up. These people were probably inside of like the biggest hazmat suit of all time. Like they're going inside of a biozone in like a generic zombie game or something, just so they could go and clean up all of this waste that's all over the place. And the airplane ended up landing, and I think this kind of does have a happy ending because the people were able to still go to their destination even though they left with a little bit of PTSD in a different airplane. And before I end this, I forgot to add this in, so let me just go say this right now. The stain was so bad that they actually had to go and change the floor of the airplane, which I have absolutely no idea how you do something like that. But this is just a story I ended up seeing, and I just had to talk about it because that's just absolutely insane. Anyway, my name is Lua. This is just something that I wanted to talk about. You have a good day or night. See you.